Hello? Hello, everybody. Welcome, everyone, and welcome back for those of you who've been here before. How is my audio? Standard mic check. Cool. Hello there. So, welcome everyone. My name is Emily. Today we are going to be doing modeling. This is the CADA Bootcamp. We are modeling in Blender today. So, if you want to follow along, then make sure you have Blender downloaded and installed. But if you just want to chill and hang out, that's totally cool too. That's totally fine too. Yes. Mic is good. Awesome. Cool. Thanks, guys. Yeah. So, I guess we can just get started. Usually we do, a little intro. So for those of you who've been here before, you know the drill. But, I'll say it again just for any newcomers. I am a graduate of CADA. And I have been working in the field now for roughly a year and a half, just over a year-ish. My main, I'm a 3D generalist, but I mostly do modeling, shading, and texturing, and animation. Though I do dabble in sculpting also. I got my bachelor's project was on sculpting, so I also specialize in that, but today we are modeling in Blender. Yes. So with that said, if anybody has any questions about anything at any time, whether it's, of course, about the program and, the software, Blender, or if it's about modeling in general, or if it's about the industry or my experience in the industry, feel free to ask anything at any time. Yeah. So, I guess we can just get into it. We are based in Copenhagen right now. That's where we're streaming from. That's where the CADA campus is located. So, welcome to people from all over the world, I guess. Usually we have a lot. Unfortunately, our chat moderator, Christian, is not with us today. Tears. He is still in the chat. He'll be here and there. He'll hang out. I'm not sure. Are you on the clock, Christian? Maybe you're not supposed to be here. I think you're supposed to be resting and getting well, because he's slightly ill. Oh, yeah, he's still there. Okay. Get plenty of rest now. So Christian is our chat moderator. He'll go by the name of either Christian or the CADA, Copenhagen Academy of Digital Arts username. At the end of every class, we usually go on Discord and look through everybody's work together, but I'll be doing that by myself today, which is totally fine. Also, if you guys have any work from the class or from the previous class you want to show off, feel free to submit that in the Discord. Yeah. And I will just turn the lo-fi music down. How is that sound for everybody? I'm told maybe it can be a little loud. How is that? Maybe that's okay. And if you guys prefer me to turn the music off, also just let me know. I can totally do that. Yeah. Christian, are you able to link the Discord? Otherwise, I'll see if I can link the Discord later, because I am not logged in right now. Okay, cool. Well, with all that said and done, I guess we can just get into it. So, welcome. This is Blender. My screen is tilted. Wait a second. There we go. Okay, so Pardon the interruption. I'm a short person, you see, so, you know, sometimes it can cut my head off or my face off. Okay. Yes. When you open, oh, thank you, Christian. Christian has, or CADA has linked the Discord if anyone wants to join. It's our little community. We have lots of fun in there and we submit all kinds of work and yeah, do show and tell and give feedback and all that. So if you want to join, feel free. Welcome to everyone. Okay. So when you first open Blender, it should look something like this. You'll have like these random things in here. I'll go over navigation in a second. This is our camera. You can see it highlights blue. We just updated our Blender couple of classes ago, a few weeks ago. Things are different. Things are looking different, but modeling and the principles of modeling are the same. Thank God. I've done this many times. Oh, okay. I'm going off on a tangent. Okay, so yes, we have our camera, our cube, and our light. We will not be needing the camera or the light. You can see, depending on what I highlight or what I choose over here, it's, depending on what I select, it's highlighted over here differently, right? So this is our light, camera. This little list here is something that, Blender obviously calls scene collection, as you can see, but I am a Maya user. I've learnt I learnt the majority of my knowledge in Maya and 3ds Max, and this is what I would call the outliner. It's basically just like an organized list of what you have in the scene. We really don't need the camera and the light. Some people like to delete all of this stuff and start from scratch. I'm just gonna hide it because, you know, whatever. I just did that by selecting it, which is left click and click, or left click and drag, and then hitting H to hide it. Let me actually see if I can. Nope. So Alt-H is to unhide all, but I'm just gonna Control-Z because, you know, Control-Z is undo, and Control-Shift-Z, I believe, is redo. Yes, Control-Shift-Z is redo. There are a lot of keyboard shortcuts. If you're a visual learner like me, I'm sure you'll appreciate all the buttons over here, and I will show you all of those and what they all mean. But yeah, just keyboard shortcuts make things faster and more efficient, which is a super useful, handy tool. But yeah, so some people even like to delete the cube and restart fresh. We could even do that. If, let's say your scene was empty, right? I just hit X and then delete. If we have like a fresh open scene, I would go to add, and then I would go to mesh here, and then I would go to cube. And as you can see, you've got plenty of options here, and you can essentially add like a lot of different stuff, almost anything you want. But yeah, we're gonna stick to a cube just for now. I can see we have a question or two. Apologies if I am a little late getting to your questions. I will get to them as soon as I possibly can. There is a slight feedback delay with the stream, but sometimes it's also, I also have to multitask between doing this stuff. So, question, what version of Blender do I have, or do you have? It looks a bit different. Yeah. This is I do believe this is the latest version of Blender. Oh gosh. 4.1? 4.0. Blender version 4.0. I thought for a second it was 4. No, yep, I'm mixing up my versions. It is 4.0. Blender version 3.1 or 3. Blah blah blah, whatever, works just as well. at least for modeling, Blender 4.0 is totally fine too. It's yeah. Sometimes they change the program a bit drastically, but I do not believe this is the case this time. So, cool. Pardon me. Yeah. Okay. So, navigation. Basically, how we move and navigate around the 3D world space. You probably saw me before, like zooming in and out. I'm literally just using the scroll wheel on your mouse, which is this little button here. God bless my small tiny hands. Here we go. You can see it. Sheesh, pardon me. It is flu season here in Copenhagen. So, what else? The same scroll wheel button, if you just click it and hold down, that will help you to, I guess, rotate around your object. And the point of rotation completely depends on where your focus point is, so yeah, I'll get into that. I can get into that. It becomes more relevant on like really big assets and models. Or, you know, you can also use this thing over here. Like I said, the visual buttons, they're super helpful. You have your different axes here. So if I click the Z axis, I'm looking from like bird's eye view. Now I'm looking down, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I do believe. The depending on the software you're in, the program might have different letters and different colors indicating up, side to side. But in Blender, Z is the vertical axis. So if I click on the Z as the vertical, I'm just gonna have like the bird's eye view. To get out of that, I just use the middle mouse button to click and get out of again. Like, let's see, if I want to have the X-axis view, I can also, so these are the two mirrored sides of, I can either look from this direction here, or if I click this again, I'm looking from this direction, if that makes sense. But when I'm in this orthographic view, it is just like, now I see the Z and the Y, like, yeah, as if it were a wall type thing. Yeah. And then, you know, I think you get the point. Yeah. Useful when, you know, if like we're looking from a, this sort of perspective is what we called like, it is just perspective view, because there is depth of field. You can see, for example, you know, it gets smaller. The further away something is, it gets smaller, so I have some depth. I just went to wireframe mode here. You can play around with these, get different views. Just stick to the basic. Also, just different ways of viewing your viewport, basically. Gives you different information. When we're in this view, it's orthographic, which means it's just dead on. Doesn't matter how close or far away we get, there is no depth to it. It's just going to be very, like, precise. Yeah. Cool. Bit of an in-depth description there. And then I do believe the other key is shift. If you hold shift and the middle mouse scroll wheel button, so shift and click, you can pan. So shift is like shift, and the middle mouse scroll button is your go-to. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now, if anybody has any questions about any of the controls at any time, don't feel free to ask. It can sometimes be confusing when there's so much information all at once, but yeah, let's just get into modeling now. I think you guys have waited long enough. Time for the good stuff. So, the thing that I want to model or that I want to edit, I'm gonna have that mesh or that object or asset selected, and I'm gonna hit the tab key on my keyboard. That's just the fast way to get into something we call edit mode, which is the little thingy up here. See, everything is selected right now, but we don't need that. The other way to switch between the two is also just to go up here and click on it, and then, you know, object mode. That's kind of how we edit the whole object in it of itself. But if you want to actually edit the geometry and edit the shapes of things, then we need to be in edit mode. Cool. So once we're in edit mode, and if you're ever, you know, like, oh, why can't I select the, oh my god, and the, yeah, we just have to make sure we're in the right mode. It's happened a couple times to me. So cool. Once we're in edit mode, now we can actually start changing this geometry and making it into whatever we want. Usually we make swords and daggers. But we do like to mix it up sometimes, depending. We might just stick to a dagger or a knife today. But if anybody has any specific requests of what they want to make, feel free to submit that in the chat. Otherwise, everybody is, of course, free to make whatever they want and make their own thing. But if you want to see me make something, then by all means, put some suggestions. We are not tied to a dagger, we just kind of tend to do that. It's a familiar workflow. Everybody loves modeling knives. It's fun. I think there's a fantasy aspect to it that I enjoy, that we all usually enjoy. But yeah. Okay, let's see. Cool. Alright, all caught up. Nice. Ooh, good idea. Christian just suggested an axe. I actually like that idea a lot. Ooh, a stylized car. I mean, as much as I like that idea, I hope you're okay with it being like an extremely simple toy car or something, because I at least in the time that we have, cars are quite complex, at least if I'm thinking like photorealistic, which is like, yeah, but I guess stylized would be, yeah. Yes, well, we must put it to the people. What say ye? Okay. Yes. We like the axe, Well, here's what I will do. I'll get us started, and then anybody who wants to make whatever they want, at least I'll give you guys the tools to do it, and you guys can do whatever you please. Alright. So. Let's start off by yeah. Alright, so this is your selection button. This is kind of usually turned on by default. This is your move tool. Hello, there we go. You can see there's this little thing here with the circle and the arrows and stuff. That's what we call our gizmo or our gimbal. Is it gizmo? I think it's, what is is it called? Something like that. Gizmo or gimbal. I forget. Yeah, and then this is the rotation button, which I do believe is R. Yeah, R for rotate. Shortcut. I usually like to use the buttons, like I say. It's just, yeah. This is our scale button. This changes the scale of things. Whoa. Yes. And transform. So kind of like a multifaceted tool. I don't usually use this so much. I mean, it does all the same things as the previous 3 buttons, just kind of gives you all the options all at once. Still just a gizmo in and of itself. Don't usually use these either, especially because we're in object mode, but I just went back into object mode because I wanted to scale my whole object. You can do the same thing in edit mode, only if I was in edit mode, tab, I would go into, I'd have to select everything, which I can do by hitting A. So A, shortcut key to select everything is A, because if I just drag, then it's very viewpoint based, but A to select everything, scale, beautiful. So yeah, there are different ways to do it, but yeah, different ways to do things, just depends on your preference. Welcome! Welcome, welcome, welcome! Somebody says they're a newbie, first time using Blender ever! Oh my god, congratulations! Is this your initiation? Oh my lord. I do hope you enjoy yourself. I think we are a little bit torn between making an axe and a knife and a stylized car. I'm leaning towards the axe because I can kind of just like do, you know, I can give you guys the tools and you can take it into an axe or a sword or a knife and it's still gonna be, yeah. So I think that's probably where we'll start. Cool. Right now I'm gonna work on the base, I think. Is it called the hilt? I don't think it's called the hilt. It's the handle? Yeah. Okay. So right now we are in something, we're in like vertex mode, I guess you could say, or I have this little dot button up here selected, which essentially means I can select individual vertices by themselves, isolated, and I can move these points in a very specific way. Edge mode, these little lines here, I can select individual lines and edges. So if I want to tweak something like that, you can do that. Face mode, probably, yeah, I'll probably use this quite a lot. Yeah, selects, it is what it says it is. You select the whole face and yeah. Yep, cool. Another tip as a fellow artist, which if you guys have ever been into art before, then you'll also know that reference is always key. I want to make like a, I want to make like a Nordic cool ass Viking axe or something. I'm gonna eat my words because I am from Australia, so I was born in Australia, so I have very little experience with Nordic axes and mythology of that kind, but it looks really cool, and I want to do that. So let's do that. Okay. I'm just going to take the bottom face here in face mode, and let's see. I want to extrude it, I think. Yeah. There are different ways to do this. I actually also believe... Nope. Okay, different shortcut. Yeah, so what I want to do basically is I'm gonna extrude this region, which essentially just creates more geometry. This edge here just means like this up here is gonna hold its shape, but since I have extruded this and created new geometry, let's say I want to scale this. This is gonna hold, from this edge upwards, it's gonna hold its shape, and then whatever I do to this thing here, it's gonna only affect that. So, yeah. I don't even... They got some... I'm looking at my reference here. Okay. Going to be an asymmetrical axe, but you know, that's okay. They tend to do that sometimes. So, as you can see, I'm only making changes based on one axis. So if I wanted to, I could do it on all axes, but I'm just hitting the green axis right now, which means it's only going to do it in one direction, which is kind of cool. That's kind of handy. And I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go into edge mode, loop cut. Yeah, nice. Here we go. Create a little edge there. Lovely. We need that. Now. Actually, not what I want. There we go. Okay. So I use this button here, loop cut. I mean, it's so nice and helpful. Blender is so user-friendly. The UI is just, it's lovely. So you can hover over every button and it'll essentially tell you its name and essentially what it does. I'm just gonna show you guys in a practical sense how it could work. So I've made an edge here, and I've just gone to the edge slide button to just basically move it up and down, but only on it follows this geometrical shape. Instead of, as opposed to if I just wanted to move the line down, it's gonna change the shape, right? So in this case, I just wanted it to be a little lower. I'm gonna go back to my move tool, take this, move that up, I think. We might have to smooth this later, just to actually. So I want to select this whole edge loop around this again. So I'm gonna select one and hold shift, and I can go around and hold shift and select every edge Or I believe I can click one edge and then Alt, yes. Alt select to click the whole edge around. Shift is just multiple. If I want the whole edge loop, I gotta hold Alt as well. Or Shift and Shift Alt to, yeah. So combination of things you can do, but yeah. But I just want to select this one. Cool. Here we go. Just move it back a little bit actually. Face mode. Right now, all I'm trying to do is get the essential basic shapes down. Which, you know, can also be subjective sometimes, depending on your... That's a little bit more. Yeah, depending on your supervisor or your creative director, they're probably gonna have something to say about it. But at this stage, right now, we just want to get some basic shapes in there. Okay. Now I can actually see. This is a fun tool. We're not gonna use it this time because it doesn't make a lot of sense, but what is it called? Go away. Knife? In Maya, we would usually call this loop cut or something. But yeah. Yeah. Handy if I would like to cut specific shapes out of the geometry. But it is tricky, and I would be careful because the thing we want to avoid the most is polygons or faces with more than 4 sides. Triangles are okay. 3 sides. Okay. Polygons, 4 sides, squares, okay. Any more than that, nope. Gotta go. Can't have it. That's just the basic good topology rule. We don't want more than 4 sides. So if I make a little... It would be kind of cool if it was like a Nordic rune. That would be awesome. Just make sure when you do that, I could probably do that later actually. But when you do that, make sure you are lining it up. So for example, here we go. I have immediately just made like, this has 4 sides, yes, but no longer does this face have 4 sides. Oh. Like I've almost completely broken the geometry because it doesn't want to work. So I've pretty much broken it. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. But if you, yeah, I hope that makes sense. Make sure your shapes have edges all the way around them to make sure every face has no more than 4 sides. It's basically the rule. Okay, we have more questions. Oh, you got it? Okay, lovely. Awesome. Okay. Yes. So, I know you might, yeah, if you've got it, that's great. I'll reiterate again anyway, just to be on the safe side for anybody who missed it. How to choose only a part of it again. These 3 little buttons up here will allow you to either select vertices, edges, or faces. I hope that's what you were referring to, what you meant. Yeah. And we got a helpful tip from somebody in the comments that say if you hold A with the knife tool, it makes straight lines. Let's see. Take up here. Oh. Let's see. There are so many shortcuts for... Oh. Okay. That's fun. Have fun with that. There are so many shortcuts for so many tools. You could probably just like play around and with that, and you'll probably discover a bunch of stuff. But yeah, at least for now, we do not need the knife tool right now. It's just kind of fun to use. There's lots of stuff here. Okay, we just need this. Can also just do that. Okay. Okay, great. No problem. Let's see. Yep. So, Alt select again. Trusting the process. Wonderful. Okay. Let's see here. I need another one. Nope. Oh, wrong button. There we go. Okay. Maybe these shapes are a little bit extreme, but I'll probably have to smooth that out later. Anyway. Something like so. Now, since we were working in the Z-axis orthographic view, I've only made changes to the shape on this side of things. If I go into the Y view, you can see it's still dead straight. I'm not sure how realistic that is for like a thing of wood, but I mean, ideally you can sand it down, right? And make it sort of how you want. Just at the reference I'm looking at, it has a bit of a curve in it on this side, I guess. It doesn't really logistically make sense for it to be curved on the blade side, right? That would be kind of strange. So, we just gonna leave that there. There we go. And the bottom tends to be a little bit thicker. Again, I'm just holding shift to select multiple things at a time. And then if I want to deselect, I can select shift on that same edge again to deselect it. Or let's say I wanted to deselect like a lot of things all at once. I would hold Control down and drag. But of course, it's view-based, so I'd have to go and change perspectives to make sure I've deselected everything that I wanted. But yeah, hope that helps a little bit. I'm almost happy with this, but sometimes you just have to let the perfectionist go. And I mean, it's far from perfect, but you just gotta get it out there. Let's see. There we go. Okay, one more. We can do one more. That's fine. Okay. You know. Okay, and then actually I can see the top gets thicker also as we go up the handle. So Shift Alt to select multiple loops at a time. I'm just gonna slide this down a bit more because I just cannot help myself. Okay. And if anybody makes actual axes or has worked with axes before, do feel free to give me feedback, because yeah. Okay. Alt in face mode and in vertex mode also does the same thing. Okay. We're gonna smooth it later. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna select the top face. And I want to make the top of the axe slightly, ever so slightly thicker than this point here. Not by a huge margin, but gradually. So instead of going in on every edge and individually expanding them, scaling them up, making sure they're all like perfectly smooth and gradual, I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna turn something on that is would be considered like soft selection. What it kind of means is I can also just show it if I've selected it correctly. What it essentially does is when I have a highlighted selection, it will slowly within the margin select everything closest to it and have sort of like a waterfall effect also. I don't know if I'm explaining this very well. Let's see. Okay, so as soon as I do this, you can see this gray sphere here. This indicates the zone of which my soft selection is. It indicates the zone of what geometry is going to be affected by the soft selection or by the button. While I'm holding this left click button down to scale, I can see this gray sphere appears. I'm going to use the scroll wheel to make it larger, and then it does what we want. Yeehaw! So, now that I've made my gray box a lot bigger, I can just undo that, basically. Now it is the way it was before. Only now, when I scale it, it's going to affect everything else. on a very slight and subtle way, but still handy, you know? So, and if I want to make the zone smaller of like what is selected to scale, I just would, essentially the way I do it, I would do the same thing, scale it, and scroll wheel, middle mouse scroll wheel button down so that it selects even less. And so on and so forth. Cool. Now, actually, now comes the hard part, which is judging how much I actually want it to do it. Let's just give it a try. Like, is that? This also works in more than one way, of course. So instead of selecting one thing, it selects the surrounding parts also. Super useful tool. It's just this little sphere button up here. And this drop-down menu is different versions of the same thing, I guess. It just does different things. Particularly, some of these are more useful when you have an area on your mesh that is really dense with polygons and with, vertices and stuff. So, for example, let's go into edge mode. If I just, let's just, oh, come on now. It's fine. Yeah, okay. If I just make this really, really, really dense, let's see. Something like this. I mean, that's not really that dense, but you guys get the point. Let's say I was in vertex mode. See, look, now I've got all this new, fresh geometry. I turn this on. My sphere scale is too wide. Let's take like maybe that much. So you can see it won't just pull the individual vertex, it will pull the rest with it. Super fun. Okay, and then let's say if I wanted to do random. See? You guys get it? Kind of useful for procedural random stuff. Get some diversity in there. Sharp also does the exact same thing as the normal, only it will create sort of a different shape. It'll pull it in a different way. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep it on smooth for now. That's all I really want for this particular task that we're using it for. And I'm just gonna Control Z all of that because we don't need any of that right now. Okay. But do we like this shape or nah? I don't know. Oh yeah, forgot. Okay, I gotta make my zone bigger again. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Nope, yep. You know what? I know what it is. I want... Something like that? It'll do. That's fine. Okay, cool. Now we have something of a very rough blocking. What we call a blocking. Oh, Just remember to turn your soft selection off if you should want it off. I might actually turn it on again real quick. Wait. Cool. Now, there are different ways to do this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it like this. Totally fine if the smooth is still on. No big deal. Just gonna take that a little bit bigger. Doesn't need to be too much bigger on that axis. But on this one, maybe we want it a tiny bit. Edge mode. Oi. Yeah, turn that off. Okay. Now, for the next part. Depending on the use for this object, you could do this a couple different ways. So, usually, yeah, I would keep it just, yeah. You can, what we can do is we can, so an axe is made of two materials, right? Metal and wood, usually, generally, right? Classic, just the basics. I would have a different, I would try to keep those materials as separate objects. So the wood would be one object, as it is, and then I would, you know, and then create the metal part of the axe out of that, and then combine those two objects like within a group, or, you know, they could be combined as one object, but they would still have separate mesh. So their vertices would not be merged. They would just kind of pass through each other and appear to be one object. This has different functionalities, so depending on texturing, what the use is for the future, etc. Yeah, different ways of doing it. If you want, it doesn't, for this particular object, doesn't make any difference, but less draw calls means, which is a good thing, generally, we would keep it as one object and then texture the metal and the wood together, but using UV maps and the geometry, texture them as separate materials in another texture software, preferably, or in Blender too, but yeah. I think when it comes to texturing within Blender, they have a preferred workflow, which would be to have separate objects, but now I'm just giving you guys a bunch of technical information. We don't really need to worry about that, unless you want to texture your object in the texturing class, which we will be doing next week. Woo! Next Wednesday, same time. But for now, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and now we're gonna do the actual axe part, I think. It's about time, right? Yeah. Let's see this bad boy come together. There we go. I'm actually gonna do the same down here because, you know, consistency. A little bit funky, this one, but not a big deal. I just do it. Okay. I'm actually going to rotate that. Oi. you got some crazy axe thing going on here. Okay. Slide. Okay, I can see we have a question. I can just answer this when I can. Yeah. Okay, great question. Someone asks, can I see the collection of all objects and work with them separately if I have more than one object in the scene? For example, like layers in Photoshop. Yes, in a way, yes. In principle, all your separate objects will show up in your outliner. And meatball. Don't know why you'd need a meatball. Right. So, all your objects, separate and all, will show up here. Only the objects that you highlight and go into edit mode will be editable, if that makes sense. Oh, something's going on here. Okay. That's how it's supposed to work, right? See, now I can't edit these because I didn't select them originally. Let's see if I select that one. Okay, that function doesn't even work, but... And now I can't edit these. So yeah, I guess short answer to your question is yes, you can edit multiple objects separately in the same scene together. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Yes, and Christian being so helpful, naturally, as he is, reminding everyone to save your file if you want to keep this for another time. Save regularly and save often. Yeah, if you want to come back to it, that is. Okay, I'm happy with that positioning. Let's put this here. It's gonna be a funky axe, I'll tell you that much. You're welcome. Alright, let's give it a try. Okay. So, I'm gonna take these two here. Let's see if I can... No. Do that one first. There we go. Scale. See if this works. Yeah. Nice. Alright, so if we just get this positioning correct. I think we're just gonna go crazy from the get-go. Okay. You can't see it yet, but it will come together, I promise. Let's see here. We want that side. I can see it. I can see it happening. Maybe that's actually a little bit too large for the handle. No. Here we go. Make this one smaller. Yeah. Okay. Next thing's next. Elder. Alright. Gonna put a loop cut right dead in the center here. Actually, I'm gonna do a few. There we go. Bet you guys can guess what I'm about to do. Nah, that's overkill. We're gonna smooth it later if we have time, so. Gonna select my center edge. Doot.
Spar tusindvis af kroner på elektronik og hvidevarer. Det er billigt. Spar over 20% på tablet fra Lenovo til kun 9,99. Spar 500 på iPhone 11. Eller spar 60% på energibesparende vaskemaskine med plads til 8 kilo tøj.
Might just take one at a time then, just so we don't. It actually kind of worked fine. Let's try that one more time. Let me take this one. This is too tall, I think, in my opinion. And also this one. Okay. Now we have something funky. Something funky going on. Getting there. Let's see. Too big. You guys can see where I'm going with this. In this case, we might actually just do it individually also, so we get the shape that we're looking for. kind of like a bit how's it going, but you know, that's alright. Okay, I'm just going to try and make these a little bit more aligned. There we go. Something like that. Is that sort of axe looking? There we go. Alright, now. No axe would look like this. So, I suppose we better get some more edges in there. There we go. Now I actually want to also this will make sense in 10 seconds. There we go. Actually, better yet. Nope, never mind. Make sure those lines have room to breathe there. It's not good to have overlapping edges. That is bad topology. So we just do this. There we go. Oh, then we do the same thing here. There are, of course, multiple ways to do this. I'm just thinking on the spot, so there we go. Before we do anything else, actually, no. Okay, take this out. This is our sharp edge. So so. Yeah, you want to be careful with that. Now the metal is a little bit too big for the hilt or the handle, but we will change that in a second. Okay, there we go. Cool. Alright. I'm mildly pleased with that. Kinda just wanna make... That's not what I want. So I'm just left clicking to select multiple things at a time. And then I'm holding control while I deselect. And then I have to go in and do it here too. There we go. Shift also to control to select. Oh, lovely. Nice. Okay, now. And we gonna do it. Not too small. There we go. That'll do. Little stylized axe here. Cool. Oh, I dare not claim that this is a Kratos's axe. Shee, that is something to live up to. But it's a start. There we go. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a bit more of a roundish shape. Don't want any of that though. So, basically all I want to do now is to break this sort of square shape up here. I'm just gonna ever so slightly round it off a little bit. And then, when you're ready and when you're satisfied, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing here. Just to break up the squareness of it a little bit. And there we have it. A simplified axe, I guess you could say. Let's see here if I can... So, gone back into object mode, and I've just right-clicked and gone to shade smooth. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Shade Smooth, essentially, it doesn't really do anything to your geometry, or it doesn't change the shape of your object. It just kind of blends out softly between the edges. So it kind of softens the edges between faces so that it doesn't change the geometry, but it changes the appearance of shadows on the geometry to make it appear as if it were smooth, if that makes sense. Shade Auto Smooth, I guess it kind of just tries to calculate what is meant to be smooth and what is not, and then it just smooths that. So this is nice and flush here and there. These edges, as you can see, are a little bit too extreme for the code to pick it up, but this is smooth, and you know, that's all right. Yeah. Shade Flat, same sort of principle, only the opposite. It makes all the edges hard and yeah, like so. We are running out of time, guys. I'm so sorry, but we have a little bit of time left, so we can just keep on polishing and trying to make this thing look good. How did I shade smooth? I just right clicked and it's the top button here, which is shade smooth. Yeah, so, but this wouldn't, it kind of gives like a World of Warcraft feel, doesn't it? But shade smoothing does not make it render ready or game engine ready. It's just a viewport thing, essentially. I'm pretty sure. So we're just going to go back to default shade flat. And then I want to... just going to press tab again to get into my edit mode. A to select everything. Yep. Well, it is what it is. And then subdivide is so useless. Subdivide is not useless, but it doesn't do what we want it to do right now. So I think, just to be on the safe side, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take this edge. Yes. And this edge. And these edges here. Maybe also these. I knew that was going to happen. See, even though this section here appears as though it looks like a triangle, this edge here flowing into it indicates that there is a vertex here, which means it actually has 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is, you know, yeah. Okay. Ah! Shift. I don't want that, and I don't want that. Okay. Okay, let's see if this does what I want it to do. Once I have the edges selected that I want to have selected, I am going to mark sharp, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. This, basically the edges that you have selected kind of tells you these are the specific edges that we want to keep sharp even when smoothing. And just to be sure, no. Let's test it. Okay. Cool. So we have our object. Now, here's where things get a little bit dicey. These different tabs over here all tend to have different functions. Depending on the... Oh. Yes, we can do Discord. We are going to do Discord this session. Totally we can do that. Yes, sorry. So whether you're rendering or texturing or different kinds of VFX, like there are lots of settings over here. The only one that we are looking for right now is this little, it's called modifiers. It's like it's this little wrench symbol here. We are highlighting our object and we want to add a modifier. Okay. Okay. So I'll just update. Since the last software, usually when you select add modifier, it comes with a huge overwhelming list of, okay, what do you want to add? These are all the things that you can do. I guess they've simplified it now. And they just, add modifier, search, okay. Different categories here. I want to smooth though. There is a modifier called smooth. And I'm just gonna try the first one. Okay, so essentially it just does what it says it's supposed to do, but yeah. This is essentially why we would have the metallic part of the axe separate to the wooden part, because right in this moment I would usually, I would say, well, this needs to be wood, so I'm gonna smooth it to give it a very smooth surface. Ah! Oh my god. But oh my god, I'm smoothing it into oblivion. So there we go. So I would just take the handle and I would just smooth it out, I guess. But that's not really ideal this time because it does it to our axe head also, which is a shame. Then once you're done with your modifier, you just want to hit apply. That basically means, okay, you've done the task that you want to do to your object. Now you can just apply it and it's done. Nice, clean and done. But yeah, maybe not this time. Let's try a different smooth. I guess what could also be handy, and what would probably also work just fine, would be if we subdivided it, which means adding edges and adding vertices for the modifier to work with and then smoothing it would probably be a bit more effective, because then it has lots of vertices and material to work with, and then once it smooths itself out, just comes with a prettier result, I suppose. Let's try this. What if I want to No. No. Alright, we're running out of time, so this will just have to do for today. But I hope you guys enjoyed it and enjoyed the class, and I hope you were able to learn something, gain a little bit of knowledge. Yeah, and I hope you had fun playing around with it. There's our funky looking axe. If I had more time, I would add some cool runes in it, you know, make the wood look like wood and the metal look like metal, etc. But yes, time for a quick Discord thing. Transition, yes. And then, and I can see we have some questions. So, I will just log into Discord whilst I answer your questions. What is the difference between the shade smooth and the smooth modifier, someone asks? Well, the smooth modifier actually changes your geometry, it changes the shape, it distorts your object, whereas the shade smooth, it smooths the shades. So you can see the shape is held, but if I went into edit mode, you can see my edges and my geometry and my topology are exactly the same. They haven't changed or been altered. It's only the appearance of shadows that Shade Smooth has changed on it. Yes. I'm so glad you learned so much during this lesson. Yay, that's great. Congratulations. That makes me happy. And if you do decide to try and model Hogwarts, please show us. We would love to see it. We love seeing you guys' work. It's so awesome. Progress is always fun. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Da-da-da-da. Oh my god! My students, you guys are amazing. I'm so proud. Okay, today, oh my lord. Yeah, okay, so we also have a sculpt from last class. I am in the 3D Bootcamp tab. So last class we did a, was sculpting in ZBrush Core Mini. And we tried to do like a duck dragon thing. We weren't very successful, but it was still fun. It was still lots of fun. And this person decided to do a fox. If you're in the chat, great job. They decided to do this instead, which is insane. I do not believe this is ZBrush Core Mini because these are separate objects. If it is ZBrush Core Mini, tell me how you did this because I have not seen this multiple spheres thing. I have not discovered it. ZBrush Core Mini is basically a super simplified version of normal ZBrush, which is you have to pay for. ZBrush Core Mini is free, so get into that if you're interested. That's so cute and awesome. And if this is from today's class, you are blowing my mind. Marmoset tool bag. Okay, interesting. But that is so cool and fun. What an awesome sword. / knife. It looks like a sword, but it is, I do think, I mean, yeah, it's a sword, right? It's just like, yeah, it's a hobbit sword, kind of. But that's so cool. Awesome. Wow, and you guys are so creative, coming up with these, like, cool shapes and designs and ideas. That's awesome. So proud of you guys. Yeah, that's crazy. Let's see. Yep, I can see, yes, the triangle, yep, okay. That's okay, yes, because I can see you wanted to keep this and yep. Well done. Oh, just watch out for this one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The simple way to fix, oh, and you know, here too, the simple way to fix this would just be to, oh Christ, maybe that was a bit, from this point here, maybe, this is where the knife tool comes in super handy. From this vertex here, knife this, from this vertex to this vertex and create a triangle here, that will give you a square there. Same thing here, like I would just knife from this vertex to this vertex, which would create a triangle, which would turn this into a square. That's how we can escape that sort of predicament. Or if you didn't want to have triangles, you can make an edge loop from this vertex all the way around, and that would create 4 by 4 by 4 by 4, and that would save you from this sort of 5-side situation. Apologies if you didn't ask for feedback or help. I just if you want to texture this, or if you want to render this or use this in the future, I would just recommend doing that. It helps a lot. The consequences of having shapes with more than 4 sides can be dire, and in a professional setting you would just from a professional perspective, it's definitely good to keep it as 4 sides only. But like, honestly, I'm so impressed. Awesome work. I love the shape of this. It's so cool. I would totally pick this up if I saw this on the battlefield. Totally mad. Totally awesome. Sometimes we have some stuff in here too people put in. Holy smokes. I'm not sure if this is from my class, but this is crazy. Oh my god. Yeah, I think that's all that we got. Okay. Yes, oh, the topology is acceptable, yes. Oh, I didn't see that you asked this. Of course, but I would, just like what I suggested or talked about before, I would recommend adding some cuts just to, okay, questions. Someone says it's their first time in Blender and it was so relaxing, and they will continue to work on their acts after this lesson. I'm so glad. That's all we could wish for, and do keep going. I hope everybody keeps going, and just keep modeling, keep pushing through. You can only get better, and it's just have fun with it. It's great. And we'd love to see your work on your acts with progression, if you would be happy to share it. Like I mentioned, we tend to do these Discord classes at the end of every session, or at least we try to, as long as there is time. I'm a little bit over now, but that's okay. We also ran a little bit into the start, so, no big deal. But we always love to go through Discord and have a little gander at everybody's stuff. And it's so cool and so fun, and yes, we love it. Love to see it. So feel free to join the next class, which will be texturing in Blender, I do believe. The latest version of Blender. We discovered the hard way that the latest update of Blender has completely switched up texturing. So do stick around for that if you're interested in that. Make sure you have the updated version of Blender if you would like to join in. Otherwise, if you just want to chill, totally cool. Also, the next class after that, we will have Christian teaching, actually, in Unreal. Is it Unity or Unreal? I think it's Unreal Engine. Some level design, game engine stuff. Super fun. Looking forward to it. And I do think I'll be moderating that chat, if I'm not mistaken, possibly. Yeah. We're gonna wait and see. But, so exciting. Okay. Oh, misclick. But okay. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was fun. I hope you learned a little something, and all around just had a nice time. Yeah, can't wait to see you guys next time. And yeah, peace.